Hello, hello, hello. So, me and SAT Score are back with another information video, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 overpowered lines you can grind in World of Warships. So, this isn't just a tier 10 video for the lines, it's going to be tier 5 through 10. The most overpowered lines are the ones you'll most likely enjoy as you're grinding out the tiers. So, going through tier 5 through 10 on all of these lines. So, let's get started. So for the first top 5 uh overpowered lines, the first one is going to be the legendary Kleber line. So Kleber, as we all know, is one of the fastest, well, is pretty much the fastest destroyers in the game. As you go over here in the tech tree, you can get it in the French tech tree, right next to the Cassard. So starting from the Jaguar, going all the way down to the Kleber. This line is one of the strongest destroyer lines in the game. A lot of fun to play. This line specializes in open water gameplay, not having any smoke, but it does come with a reload booster and an engine boost. Very maneuverable, which makes them very hard to hit. They also have the special French saturation, so that it's harder to kill when they're at lower health. So overall, very fun ships to play. They do come with torpedoes as well, which can be used in a suicide run at an enemy, or if you're just trying to fight a destroyer and they happen to go on a rock, maybe you can do a torpedo here and there. But overall, you're going to be mainly just focused on your gun gameplay. It has very strong HE and AP for the line. Two of the main downsides of this ship is the fact, one, it does not come, well, this line does not come with smoke, and two, it is the fact that it does not have very good anti-air. So if there is an aircraft carrier in the match, you are going to definitely be suffering. But other than that, very strong line and very good to play. All right, so the next line that we'd recommend is going to be, of course, the everyone's favorite secondary line, the good old Libertad line. So even with the recent so-called nerfs that they have done, the Libertad line is definitely one of the most overpowered tech tree lines you can currently play. And it starts at the Ipiranga, going down the Los Andes and the Libertad. It's not really putting into account the cruisers. It's only just counting in for the Ipiranga, Los Andes, and the Libertad. These ships, all three ships, are very maneuverable, and they all have the combat instruction that increases their firing range for the secondaries, makes the reload quicker, and makes the damage increased. All of them have a very nice turning radiuses for their size, and but their armor schemes makes it where they can ricochet a lot of AP if they angle correctly as they're turning in or away from a target. It makes them very hard to kill. The tier 8 is able to be citadeled if you're not careful, so be careful of that. But the Libertad itself is almost impossible to citadel, even though it should be. It should be citadelable, but for some reason, it just doesn't like to get citadel for some strange reason. But the tier 9 is also very good as well. The Los Andes, very good. But overall, the tier 8, tier 9, tier 10 are powerhouses in their own right for the game. And what are your thoughts on the Libertad line yourself there, SAT?
Oh yeah. First, when it came out, it was literally press W to win. You see Ipirangas, Los Andes in ranked all the time because all you need to do is press W. What's the enemy gonna do? Because you've got the improved heal, you've got improved acceleration so you can dodge. So yeah, once you get to secondary range, it's over. And no one can, and the enemy can't do anything about it. So and since all three ships are still pretty solid, even with the Los Andes taking a pretty big nerf, that's why it makes the list. Like, remember, these lines, we're not only talking about the tier 10s, we're talking about the ships preceding that. So even though a line may have a strong tier 10, if several ships before that are just not very strong, then it doesn't make the cut.
Nope.
Libertad is unique in that all three ships in the branch is just really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes this ship even more deadly is the legendary commander, which is Lisboa, which we have no idea when he'll be back in the game for everybody to get. but it just makes that combat instruction even stronger. And it also makes it where you can get your reload quicker for your main guns as well. So overall, that whole line is extremely strong for World of Warships. It's extremely strong and definitely worth grinding. Now, going off to our next top 5 line is going to be the Yamato line. Also, make sure you guys put down your own top 5 list of overpowered lines you think should be on this list. I like seeing your guys' comments, and I'm doing a lot better answering them as well. So let's have a little discussion in the comments about your guys' favorites. But the Yamato, definitely one of my personal favorite battleship lines in World of Warships. Even though it's not the meta, quote unquote meta battleship, it's definitely one of my favorites. Just old, reliable, good sniper, a lot of fun to play. So going through the tech tree line, you can get it off of the Japanese tech tree. You start off with tier 1, you go down. So the tier 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the Satsuma. All of these ships perform really well. The Izumo over time, I know that a lot of people aren't going to agree that the Izumo is a strong ship, but the thing is that over time, the Izumo did get a lot of buffs, which made the ship itself really good. So in the past, the Izumo was really painful. It was that one ship in the line you don't want to deal with, you don't want to play it, you just want to skip it. So a lot of people would grind on the Amagi and then use free XP to skip over the Izumo and then go to the tier 10. But nowadays, a lot of people play the Izumo more and have a way better experience than I did. Because back when I was starting to play the game, the Izumo was really, really, really painful to play, and it was not a fun time. But nowadays, the Yamato line overall is a very strong battleship line, and on this list for overpowered tech tree lines. What the Yamato line specializes in is mid to long range sniping. The Yamato was originally the first ship to have over 460 millimeter guns. And this makes it where it can overmatch 32 millimeter bow armor, which me saying that doesn't sound that much, but back then there were only ships that had 32 millimeter bows and afts. So no matter how you would angle to the Yamato, you were going to get overmatched and you were going to suffer. Now, nowadays, there's a lot more battleships with bow armor, like protecting the Citadel and making it a lot not as clean of a hit for my Yamato, but a Yamato can still do a lot of damage, as well as it having its unique upgrade, the main battery director system, which will make your shells more accurate. So overall, really good line, a lot of fun to play. I know it's the main downside. There's two main downsides of this ship. One is the turret traverse. The turret traverse is god slow with 55-second turret traverse. Very, 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 very slow. So if pretty much wherever you're pointing your guns on whatever side of the ship, if you rotate it, you're not going to be shooting your guns for another 55 seconds. So you have to put that into perspective when you're turning your ship. The second thing is the fact that this ship has very, 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 very bad anti-air. And that goes for the whole line, and same with the turret traverse, where the whole line has bad turret traverse and bad anti-air. So aircraft carriers will pretty much love to just kill you, love to farm you. It does have nice armor. It does have nice torpedo protection and good health. The whole line does overall. But those are the two main downsides of the Yamato. All right, moving on to our fourth pick of top 5 most powerful tech trees, overpowered, is going to be the Gdansk line. And I'm going to explain why. The Gdansk is one of the newer tech trees that came to World of Warships in the Pan-European section. You can get it right here. It starts at the tier 5, goes all the way down. What makes this ship so unique is the fact it has so much utility on the ship. First, you get a smoke that allows you to farm, and it has a very long duration. Second, you get an engine boost that helps you move around more. And then 3, you get a 10-second duration radar. Now, that doesn't sound like it's very long or very useful, but that tool is very useful as well as the fact that it has a very quick cooldown. As you can see, it has a 57-second cooldown. This makes it where if you're guarding a cap area or trying to keep a DD out, you can keep putting pressure by radaring it over and over and over and over again, making it where it's really hard to get that cap from you. And with it being 9 kilometers, the moment you get spotted, because when you build into it, you can see them at 7.3. Let me see. Do I actually build into it? Let's see. Yeah, you do. So when you do, it goes to 7.3 concealment, and you have a 9-kilometer radar. So the moment you get spotted, you can pop that radar and guarantee spot whatever is spotting you, which is really, really nice. What else makes this ship really good is the fact it has 2 sets of torpedoes, which go to 10 kilometers and do 11,000 damage. And they're really fast torpedoes at 86 knot speed. So you have smoke. You have good, fast torpedoes. You also have amazing guns with a 3.3 second reload. Now, you only get HE for the guns and not AP. But they do have a very nice fire chance as well. So pretty much this ship is a great farmer, good cap contester, good versatile ship that will help carry matches. And this goes through the whole line. This whole line is very powerful and shares the same, pretty much very same characteristics to the tier 10. So overall, very powerful line. And do you have any thoughts on the Gdansk line, SAT?
So, used to be that Gdansk was the only one that was considered overpowered. The tier 8 split and the tier 9 Katsunas were a bit lacking. And Wargaming apparently thought the same and significantly buffed both the split and the Katsunas. So right now, for destroyers at least, they're generally considered one of the best picks for ranked, just because their anti-destroyer ability is so good. In fact, they do well in pretty much all modes, randoms, ranked, and even competitive too. Gdansk, you see it when it's not banned, you see it decently often in Clean of the Seas. And that's just because you combine that 10-second radar and fast cooldown, and of course you have really good DPM for guns. Lack of AP is not that bad considering you're firing HE most of the time anyways. What the main problem with the line is actually just their durability. If you're not careful with it, you can easily get your ship killed. But if you're good enough and you're able to work around that relative fragilness, then yeah, these ships are just absolute monsters to deal with.
Yep. So before we go to our final ship on the most overpowered lines in World of Warships, we're gonna have a honorable mention. So the honorable mention is going to be the Daring line. The Daring line is the British Navy's only DD line right here. Starts at the tier 5 at Costa and goes all the way down to the Daring. Overall, the Daring line is a very versatile line, having torpedoes that you can single launch, which can be very effective at killing bow and targets that are sitting at islands. Has very decent guns with strong HE and AP. The AP on the destroyers, and those start at tier 8, correct? Or does it start at tier 9 for the short fuse for the AP?
Those actually start at tier 9 with the Jutland.
Okay, so starting at the tier 9, the AP for the Daring line, so the Jutland and the Daring, they get short fuse AP. And that makes it where you are very, very, very likely, pretty much on every single destroyer you fight, the AP will pin where normal destroyers will not. It will overpin. So for instance, if you're fighting a... Oh, sorry, keep going.
You get improved bounce angles.
Okay, so you get both the bounce angles and the... Oh, wow.
The improved bounce angles is doing the majority of the work.
Okay. So you get short fuse AP with the improved ricochet angles, which makes it where the AP can do monstrous damage to destroyers. So a lot of the time, a lot of destroyer players will just use HE when fighting other destroyers. But this ship, when the enemy is giving you broadside or a little bit of an angle, you want to use AP, and that AP will absolutely melt their HP. You'll see them going from full health to no health in a matter of like 15 to 20 seconds. It's just really fast just getting them off the screen. That AP also will do a lot of damage to cruisers and battleships within a certain distance, because like the airtime of the shells aren't the best. But normally you'll use HE on cruisers and battleships, but the AP can also be effective there as well. But overall, very effective line. The line overall comes with short burst smoke generator. So it has a 10-second action time with a 61-second cooldown. So pretty much you get the smoke down. You have a 40-second dispersion of the smoke before it dissipates. And then you have about 20 seconds until you get your next smoke. And then you have short-range hydroacoustics, which gives you a 3-kilometer range for ship spotting and for torpedoes. And you also get a heal. On top of that, the Daring line is a very versatile line with maneuverability. Has a 630-meter turning radius for the Tier 10 and a 3.7-second rudder shift. The Daring is known as one of the most maneuverable, like turning radius destroyers in World of Warships for Tier 10. I know that the Gearing and the YY beat it for sure. YY is really small and very maneuverable as well, but the Daring is up there on versatility. The turrets are also 360 on the Daring, which is very useful. So if you're kiting away, you turn yourself back and forth to get your turrets firing, and that'll help keep all your main guns on the target. So overall, Daring's a very, very good honorable mention. And I'll let SAT explain why it's not on the list.
So Daring just barely misses the cut, and that's because a couple of the mid-tier ships are not really that great. So the Acosta, the Jervis, Lightning itself, I think, is pretty solid, but it's really the mid-tier ships that kind of let it down.
Mm-hmm.
The Acosta, the Icarus, and the Jervis, they're, well, the former two first, the Tier 5 to Tier 6, their firepower is a bit on the lacking side. They still have that great survivability thanks to their improved acceleration and their smoke, but they still don't have the heal yet, and their torpedoes, although they can stealth torpedo, it's a little bit on the edge of their detection, so they can't really. Well, Acosta cannot stealth torpedo. Icarus, I think, barely can, but not by a comfortable distance.
Mm-hmm.
Their firepower is just not that great compared to other destroyers, which is which if you're like a stronger destroyer player, doesn't really allow you to exploit their advantages as easily as the other destroyers. I feel like at the mid-tiers, firepower is more important, and unfortunately their lack of is kind of a bigger downside.
Yeah, it's definitely a big downer there for sure. But anyway.
But otherwise, I think it's a pretty good line, and definitely would have almost made the list had the Gdansk and Kleber not existed.
Yep. So, the final ship that is going to be on the list, and before I show it, I want you guys to write down in the comments what you think it is. Pause the video, write down in the comments what you think this final ship is going to be. And the final list for the overpowered lines is going to be the Essex line. I hate to say it, but this damn line, dude, has changed the landscape of CV combat in World of Warships. Okay? So, normally the rule of thumb is, well, CVs, they don't have unlimited planes. They run out, right? So, the Essex turns it on the head, and they get 2 unlimited lines for the cooldown. They get the attack, the HE rockets, and they have the HE bombers. On top of that, these special squadrons also get smoke screens for themselves or for their team. So you can be a very strong support CV for your team. Also, the fighters are extremely strong. They're really good at pretty much knocking out enemy CVs, keeping them out of areas. They're very, very strong. So overall, this is a very strong support CV, and you would think, being a strong support CV, that it wouldn't do a lot of damage. But on top of that, it also is a great damage dealer. So it's a great support CV, It's a great defender against. It's a great anti-CV. It can give your teammates smoke, so you can smoke up a battleship that's pushing in, like a Schlieffen or a Libertad. You can smoke up a DD that's farming, or smoke up a cruiser. You can even smoke yourself up so that you don't die. There's so many different ways this ship can play that makes it very hard for enemy CV to counter you. And with the fighters as well, it makes it almost impossible for a CV to attack the target you have those fighters around. Also, the final I think that's all of it. I think that's everything that's really positive about the Essex. I feel like I'm missing something, SAT. Like, what else am I missing that
I
makes
mean,
the Essex so strong?
you really just covered all the major points. You have smoke, and the fact that Essex is a quote-unquote support CV, and yet uh, deals just as much damage, if not more, than other damage-oriented CVs is kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have two tactical bomber squadrons, which is really good for plane conservation because you honestly don't care about throwing the squad away, and then your torpedo bombers hit super hard. It's like, what more can you ask from a CV other than not dying to a broadside?
Oh,
On a
right,
broadside battleship.
right. If the Essex survives late game, like late game, if the Essex survives, the likelihood you lose is extremely high. Because if the Essex is fighting any other CV that has a limited squadron amount, the Essex is gonna keep being able to pump out more planes because of those two unlimited squads on that cooldown. So no matter what you do, the Essex is going to keep bringing full squadrons at you over and over again throughout the full 20 minutes of the match. And that overall is one of the main reasons what makes the Essex so broken, is because it can just keep throwing squadrons at you over and over. And it can also keep things spotted, like destroyers or subs or you name it. It can keep it spotted while sacrificing those squadrons because it doesn't mean anything. The only squadrons that do matter for it that it will run out of is the torpedo bombers, and they're very tanky and have a heal as well. So overall, Essex is a monster tech tree line. The whole line is. I'm just focusing on the Essex. But the Essex, the Yorktown, and the Independence are all very strong aircraft carriers and are definitely the most overpowered tech tree line that's on this list for what it can do in influencing a match. Like if we're gonna say which one of these lines we talked about had the most influence on winning the match, the Essex the Essex line as a whole would be on the top of the list for the most influential in winning a match. Because what are the main qualities that make a CV such a pain or their influence in the match? It's spotting, their ability to support their team, damage dealing or farming targets, keeping enemies that are low health spotted for them to kill it or its teammates, and also being an anti-CV as well. This thing does that. A plus, S rank, you name it, it just does it, it deals it, and it's just absolutely insane. So that is going to be today's video. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely leave them in the comments down below. Let me know what you all think, and thank you again, SAT Score, for being here. And thank you all for watching, and see you guys in the next video.